Have you ever noticed someone in your life constantly putting you down, only to come back and try to win you over again? Or perhaps you've met someone who showered you with overwhelming attention, yet crossed your emotional boundaries at the same time. Many people have encountered individuals with narcissistic personality disorder and have experienced the subtle manipulations they employ. These manipulations are often so hidden that they're difficult to detect. Today, we will dive into the psychological depths of narcissistic personality disorder, how these individuals see the world, how they affect us, and most importantly, how we can protect ourselves from their influence. The first phase of manipulation: excessive praise and overwhelming attention. When you first meet a narcissist, the initial encounter is often filled with intense admiration and attention. People with this disorder seem incredibly charming at the beginning, almost as if they are trying to enchant you. A narcissist can quickly memorize details about your life, gaining an uncanny understanding of your personal information. Their goal is not only to impress you or win your attention, but also to identify your weaknesses and store this knowledge for later use against you. Narcissists crave attention, approval, and validation to such a degree that they often establish a power dynamic within relationships. At this stage, the bond they create gives their victim the sense that everything feels right. By doing this, they bind their victims so tightly that dependence begins to form. The second phase of manipulation: shifting behaviors and emotional games. Narcissists use emotional manipulation as a constant cycle. It begins with excessive affection and praise, then suddenly shifts into coldness, indifference, or even humiliation. This inconsistency confuses the victim, making them feel like nothing they do will ever be good enough. Such behavior destabilizes the victim's inner balance. A narcissist drags their victim through endless emotional highs and lows. They are clever enough to place all responsibility on themselves, drawing the victim into a world that revolves entirely around them. Over time, this dynamic erodes the victim's self-esteem, while the narcissist feeds off their emotional weakness. At this point, the victim becomes emotionally trapped, subjected to a gaslighting effect. They begin to feel disoriented, confused, and manipulated, unable to trust their own emotions or perceptions. The third phase of manipulation: guilt and fear of loss. One of the most dangerous tools in a narcissist's manipulation is guilt. By constantly making their victim feel guilty, they gain control. If the narcissist's demands are not met, guilt is used as a weapon. It often takes the form of direct attacks. If you really loved me, you wouldn't act like this. Emotional withdrawal or sudden distance is then used as blackmail. At this stage, the victim feels lost, defenseless, and locked into emotional dependency. Their social relationships weaken and their self-worth diminishes. This emotional torture becomes a cycle, making it increasingly difficult for the victim to see themselves as an independent individual. The fourth phase of manipulation: emotional exhaustion and separation. A relationship with a narcissist eventually becomes draining. The endless emotional roller coaster leaves the victim mentally, emotionally, and even physically exhausted. This exhaustion can begin to affect physical health as well. The narcissist thrives on this depletion, exploiting the victim's vulnerability even further. Yet when the manipulation finally ends, the victim is left in a vast emptiness. They may feel as though they have been reborn, freed from the narcissist's grip. But this liberation is not easy. It often comes with deep pain, and healing is a long process. How do we protect ourselves from narcissistic manipulation? Protecting ourselves from narcissistic manipulation is challenging, as its effects run deep and are often insidious. The most important step is to set clear boundaries and refuse to compromise when they are crossed. Recognizing that narcissists define themselves through the power they hold over others helps us identify their behavior early. Developing an independent sense of self, discovering our own values, and staying loyal to them are our strongest defenses. A healthy relationship is built on balance and mutual support. By distancing ourselves from the imbalance and emotional pressure created by narcissists, we safeguard our long-term psychological well-being. Recognizing the manipulations behind narcissistic personality disorder can be difficult, but it is a crucial step toward protecting our mental health. Knowing our boundaries, identifying emotional abuse, and protecting ourselves from such toxic patterns is vital for leading a healthy life. Defending ourselves is ultimately our strongest shield against the manipulations of the outside world. If you'd like to explore this topic further, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.